Might as well start.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to episode 24.
It's us again.
Just want to note I'm wearing red today because February is Heart Month.
Is it?
Yes.
There you go. Important.
I think yesterday was Wear Red Day.
It was Valentine's Day, so whatever thing.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that's going to be.
I keep forgetting Valentine's Day. That shows how much I care about it.
Yeah, me too. No,
Every day is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. That's what I say.
Okay. So.
What do we got? What do we got this week?
Today we have the Kihn Band, Conspiracy. Willie Nelson, Always on My Mind. And Elvis, Costello and the Attraction, Armed Forces.
Yeah.
So,
those ones.
Those.
Mm-hmm.
So the Kihn Band. Kihn is an American rock band that was started by frontman Greg Kihn and bassist Steve Wright in Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland.
Is it in Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm having mouth issues today. I don't know why.
It's the cold and snow that's making our brains rot.
Yeah, it's been brutal.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Russian hat today, in honor of winter.
Yeah, it's been crazy here, so that's why, like you said, that's why I had this on to keep warm.
Keep your noodle warm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, continue. Where were we?
Okay, Conspiracy is their 8th album, released in 1983, and it placed 15th on the Billboard 200. The album has one of their 2 hits, Jeopardy.
Oh, definitely Jeopardy, yep.
And another song I didn't know that they did was the breakup song. I love that song.
Oh.
But I didn't realize it was the Kihn Band.
But it's not on this album.
No, it's not on this album, and that is their only other hit. Their album titles are hilarious. They all have the Kihn name in them. So Conspiracy is this one. There was one, Contagious, Citizen Kihn. Yeah, you get the drift.
There's a few. You get all of them, and I wish I would have.
For the most part, I think there was one album out of all the ones that they've done that didn't have Kihn in the name somehow.
Well, I'm sure that either both of those or one of them, there'll be more in this collection, so we'll be able to find out what other Conspiracy is coming out. So yeah, I noticed that too in my research that they do that, which is not a bad thing. I guess.
No, it's a quirky little marketing gizmo. All the songs on this album, with the exception of I Fall to Pieces, which was a cover by Patsy Cline. Well, actually, probably a few people, but my favorite cover is Patsy Cline. All songs were written by the band. So there. The producer was Matthew King Kaufman. He graduated law school but never took the bar. Worked for A&M Records and became frustrated with the way of the world there and went out on his own and started his own record label. He was owner and chief producer at Berserkly Records. And he produced 2 of the Kihn Band records.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one is the Berserkly.
Berserkly, yeah, there it is. The track listing on this album is Jeopardy.
Oh, Weird Al strikes again.
Yeah, it's funny because...
Shout out to Weird Al.
He has such a... He's got such an influence on pop culture that when he redoes a song, to me, that's the only one that I can
Well, I don't know about the only one I remember, but it's definitely the first thing that comes to mind. This happened the other day when we were in the pool for a song, too. The original song came on, and we were just thinking of Weird Al.
Oh, Royal.
Yeah.
The Royals are Royal by...
Which was, I think he did, was Tinfoil.
Yeah, Tinfoil.
Yeah. Which is great. So anyways, I have Jeopardy right away, which we've covered on this show.
The Weird Al Yankovic?
Yeah, the version, it was on that collection that we had.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Oh, no, Weird Al's all over this.
So, Jeopardy.
Okay.
Fascination. Tear That City Down. Talking to Myself. You Can't Love Them All. Number 6, side B. I Fall to Pieces. I wrote here that I love the Patsy Cline version, but this one was okay too.
That wasn't too bad, yeah. No, I agree.
Someday, Curious, How Long, Love Never Fails. So, that's a list of the tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
Yeah, it's funny because I thought this was going to be another one of those bands that was like a bar band that somehow snagged a record deal, but their production value is a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, and we're going to come across this too again later on. But I agree with that. It's like a more polished bar band for sure, and it's something that's going to come up later in this episode too. I found the problem with them and a lot of bar bands is that the album doesn't offer much in the way, like if it wasn't for the Patsy Cline cover, it's really all kind of the same song-ish.
Yeah. And
I hate doing that because a lot of bands have a sound and that's their thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like,
say the same thing about Nine Inch Nails or anything Tool.
Yeah, Van Halen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I did find it gets a little tedious. I will say the second song, I thought Fascination was the best song on the album.
Oh, cool.
And what else do I got here? The cover was the second best song, which wasn't even theirs. And it's just mid-tempo pop rock.
Really good cover. Yeah, I thought that the
rock.
side one was a little more rock and roll than side two.
Mm-hmm.
Side two was a little more laid back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Oh shit! And the other thing too. So sorry, we didn't even get to it yet. Which song should we play for the people?
Jeopardy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, Fascination.
Fascination?
Yeah, Fascination. Since you like that.
They're playing right now. I like listen that part there. Wow. So anyways, and I said boring. I said it gets worse as it goes on.
Yeah, I thought everything was repetitious.
Yeah, just by the end it was just like, oh, okay, let's do something else.
Yeah.
The other good thing I'll say about it is it's short. It was a short album.
Oh, good. I didn't even notice. I'm always busy writing when we're listening.
Oh yeah,
for me,
I'd be surprised if this album's 30 minutes long.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was. So I like that.
Thank you,
aspect.
Greg Kihn, for that.
Okay, is it on to me, or is it
Yes.
you still got stuff?
Yeah. Nope. Last is that.
Okay.
It was repetitive.
Repetitive, yeah. I agree. It is, which is, we got 2 songs off there. I guess it's not too bad if you put enough albums. So, like you said, Canada 83, its original run. Didn't find anything, there's nothing unique about it in that regard. Condition is, it's beat up. It's got one of those flimsy cardboard covers that I fucking hate. It's, up here. Yeah, it's like a low medium.
It's not bad, but it's not.
It's not
mint.
Low medium-ish, I guess, if you're dying for this one. There's no sleeve. The vinyl, it had a bit of mold on it. I cleaned it up, and actually the vinyl was in really good condition. Not only in terms of like physical, like looking at it, looks like it's in good condition.
Yeah, the album does look pretty good.
It sounded decent. Like there wasn't any. I think maybe in the first song, there was a little bit of. Yes,
I remember that.
But then nothing.
Pops.
Yeah, and then nothing for the rest of the whole entire album. So, vinyl's in good. The audio mix I thought was decent, bassy. It sounded good, pop rock mix. It's not going to disappoint you like some of the shit that we've listened to. Oh, and I even said it sounds better than some of the ones we have reviewed. So
it sounds better than some of the
shit we listened to. Yeah, so it's just boring shit. Okay, so art direction was Ron Coro, art and design by Mike Fink, and photo by Phil Bray. So let's get into this because. So I just want to show this again here. This is what it looks at the front, which I'm actually a fan of. I actually think that's kind of cool. Simple, but pretty cool. Color combinations, it's a variation on the ones I like anyway, so balance of red. And then they are in the back all looking like, I don't know, pop figures almost. I mean, they're normal pictures of them, but the way they are, they look like they're on stands.
Yeah.
Like figurines or something.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was an aesthetic choice, but well, there you go. So, sorry for the wheeziness too. That's one thing I found with the snow and cold that we've had. My breathing is wheezy, so I'm going to let me wheeze my way through this.
Yes, it is wheezy.
Yeah. So for Ron Coro, bio-wise, I couldn't find much. Worked on over 150 albums as art director, design, artwork. I can tell you the albums, but I can't tell you much about him. And this actually comes up a few times where it almost got a little bit frustrating because I had to piece together through either articles or just their work and try and figure out some stuff. So
the joys of research.
So Ron is kind of like this. So he's worked on albums for the Doors, Tom Waits, Roy Orbison, the Cars, the Meters, Dave Mason, Bob Dylan. He's been nominated 8 times for a Grammy. I don't think he's ever won, but he's been nominated. Mike, I'm just going to go back to his name. Mike Fink. Oddly enough, that name comes up, but I couldn't find anything, once again, personally about him. And I actually don't even have any other albums written down. So other than this and like some other, I couldn't find much. I also kind of ran out of a little bit of time because this album's so short. What I do generally, like we do a little before I put the album, we drop the needle on the album. We'll do a bit of pre-stuff just to get rolling, and then generally for me, what I like to do is just within the confines of the album, do the research, write everything down, and normally I'm done usually way before we even get to the second side. But in this album, I was just like trying to write down shit. Okay. Anyways, I have nothing.
Yeah, and your research can be a lot more in depth than mine. Mine's pretty straightforward.
Well, in this case, because I had to do so much digging,
yeah,
like actually
you
searching
get into
around
positions where you have to dig for information on these people.
Exactly. And so Phil Bray, philbray.com is his site. I couldn't find a bio about him, but he started on album covers in the 70s. Worked in film works in film as a still photog. He's worked on the other albums he's worked on as a photographer. Miles Davis, Sonny Rollins, and I put many other bands I don't know. Honestly, there was lots I had never heard of them. None of them look familiar. So yeah, so that's the end of Phil there. So, and like I try, and that's the other thing too, because the album's short. So I'm trying to cram these just like the footnotes. So we're not sitting here because I could do a whole page on some of these people.
Yeah, it depends. Like some of the bigger bands.
Yep.
And the Canadian ones especially, you can kind of fall down around.
Yeah, for sure. And like, thankfully, a couple of these guys didn't have bios, or definitely would have been longer. And like, just trying to, I'll put up when I was talking about, I'll cycle through some of the other album covers or some of their other work. But it's really weird. They have lots of stuff or their work, but not much in the way of their bio where they.
Were any of these guys on Instagram?
I think Phil Bray was. I don't know if I added him, but I will, whatever, maybe, like, whatever, I'll pop it up, so yes or no. It's definitely one of those. Gotcha. Honestly, I didn't make the note, and I could have very well followed him on Instagram and not just remember it, but I did it.
Yeah, because it has been a couple of weeks
since we did this. Yeah, this has been a while, guys, so, okay, so that's it for me. We've talked about that.
So the sale history according to Discogs. In its worst condition, $1.30.
Yeah, well.
In mid condition, $5.
You're not getting $5 for this.
Median condition.
Median, yeah, mid.
Because it sounds mid. My mid sounds like mint.
It does, yeah.
In mint condition, $13.20.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting.
There's quite a spread.
Yeah, the spread sometimes.
So there's a lot of junky ones and mid-tier ones, but there's not a lot of good ones apparently. So yeah, verdict. Yeah, rating, verdict, whatever you want to do. Oh yeah, I didn't write down. Once again, I'm a meh on this one only because like it's not. There's 2 songs that are decent. They're not horrible musicians or anything like that. It's just meh. It's boring. Like it's so tedious by the end. I'm gonna go with meh as well.
Yeah, I'm meh, and
I'm not
to the art collection, I guess.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that we should almost start a new category of just sell. Because like I don't harbor grudges against this one. It's not like burn it with fire like we've had.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of.
But I have no interest in listening to it ever again. So.
No, if one of the 2 songs ever came on the radio, I would sing along and be happy to hear them. But
those 2 songs are fine. Yeah,
I wouldn't go search them out. I don't think.
Yeah.
And if I did, especially Jeopardy, I'd put the
Weird Al version. Yeah, which is so close
on a playlist. Yeah,
it's amazing. All right then.
Okay.
Conspiracy
down.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, album number 2, Willie Nelson.
Hold on a sec. Oh, I had to get my wheelie out.
Oh.
I had to get my wheelie out. That's heavy. I get it up there. Oh my god. How can we not have Willie-related puns when we talk about this?
You're absolutely correct. So, Willie Nelson,
Anyways,
always on my mind.
Where were we?
So, we've done Willie's albums before.
Definitely.
We've talked about Willie before.
We played with our Willie before. We've talked about our Willie before. When we talked about the one before this, directly before this album too, because it's the same photographer as we had on. Oh shit! I should have gone back and looked for it.
That's okay.
But the one that was before this, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought of blue stuff on it.
Blue Sky.
Yeah, the one blue sky and shit on it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Willie, just a refresher, is an American musician, singer, songwriter, author, poet, actor,
I don't know how you
and
can't know.
activist. He's a god.
Well,
He's
a
85.
living legend for sure. Yeah, he's still going. He was just doing another concert there the other day. Yeah.
He's 85, still acting and putting out albums.
Smoke weed. That's what the big thing I learned from Willie. Keeps him.
Yeah, that's what keeps him active and young and alive.
Drop my Willie.
Always on My Mind is his 27th studio album.
It's floppy.
Released on Columbia Records in 1982.
I could do that all day, you know.
I know you could. I'm just going to try and
Just
carry
go.
on.
Just plow through. Just plow through with Willie.
It was a #1 country album of the year in 1982 and stayed 253 weeks on the Billboard Top Country Music Charts, peaking at #1 for a total of 22 weeks. It also spent 99 weeks on the Billboard 200 for all albums, peaking at #2 for 3 weeks.
No doubt, man.
All covers with the exception of 2 songs. #8, Permanently Lonely, and #10, The Party's Over, which were written by Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Actually written by, those are probably the first 2 that I know of that he even wrote. Producer is Chips Moman. Chips was an American record producer, guitarist, and Grammy Award-winning songwriter. Grammy Award-winning songwriter. In fact, he wrote 3 of the songs on this album. He's produced Elvis Presley, Tammy Wynette.
Name sounds familiar.
Bobby
too.
Womack. Elvis Presley?
Yeah, he's going places. No. It's just the guy, the producer.
Chips Moman?
Yeah, Chips Moman. Yeah, sounds familiar.
Marilee Rush, who left. And so there you go. The track listing.
Yeah, let's go to the track listing. Let's see what we here.
Do Right Woman, Do Right Man. Always on My Mind. My favorite, A Whiter Shade of Pale, that he did a cover with Waylon Jennings.
With Waylon, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And that's old Procol Harum song.
Procol Harum.
Let It Be Me. Staring Each Other Down. Bridge Over Troubled Water, which was originally...
We're on, side 2. The first song, side 2, yeah.
Bridge Over Troubled Water, which was originally written by Paul Simon. Old Fords and A Natural Stone. Permanently Lonely. The Last Thing I Needed, First Thing in the Morning. And The Party's Over.
So which song do you think we should play a little snap
let's do the one where he's... Let's do The Whiter Shade of Pale. I really like that song.
That was a good cover.
It was a real good cover. So my notes are, I need more Willie in my life.
They're just playing that. That's all we're playing.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You want people to hear.
We skipped the lights and
And yeah, I love the duet with Waylon Jennings.
Yeah, that's a fucking great album. You kidding me?
Yeah, it's always a joy.
I mean, here's the thing. I see people do it all the time. They'll shit on a band, and I probably have done it for being, they're just covers of the songs. Like the last 2 fucking albums we listen to Willie Nelson's are essentially covers. He's more than just a cover artist, but they're so good. Like this is a great fucking album. Oh my god, I don't normally like country music, and it's weird that this is considered a country album just because he's country. But go listen to this shit. Do yourself a favor, man.
It's funny when you drop
really
the
good.
needle on that album.
Yeah.
And he starts to sing.
This is fucking different, man. Yeah, well, it sounds so fucking good. It's mastered so well. It sounds great. It's in good condition. Yeah, you drop the needle. Yeah.
I'm sure that he...
Some of the best albums so far have been his.
Yes. Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
It's crazy to me. That's like a... I'm wheezing again, but...
I'm sure
and these are 2...
could be...
They must have done these ones pretty close to being back to back. Because like I said...
I don't know. I don't have
you don't have that
information. So I don't know
information,
what how this one fits in the scheme of things. What did I say? It was his 27th studio album.
Yeah.
So where that fits with.
So anyways, yeah, I'm with you on this. I enjoyed that crap.
Yeah.
Crap out of that.
Yeah.
it sounded, sorry, like you said, when you dropped the needle, it's just like, okay, it just fills up the space. And
you could probably take every single Willie Nelson thing on Spotify and put it into a great big playlist and hit shuffle and never get tired of it.
Yeah, and pretty sure that there are.
I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah.
Spotify has This Is Willie or something like that.
Yeah.
So, for sure. And like I said, and we're just scratching. Like this, we've done 2 albums, and you said he's got 27 at this point already. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. And like I said, he's still going. So
82,
yeah. So for me, so Canada, 82, just like you said.
So here we are, almost 30 years later.
Yeah, it's original. And actually, I'm going to say this shit isn't.
Yeah, it's in
great shape.
Pretty good shape, for sure.
It's not banged up on there, no tears, no stains. I just said it's some fading. There is some fading, but it gives it character. A tiny bit of tear on the thing there, and then there. And it's a little ripped on the bottom here.
As the album falls out.
But it's old. Like you say, it's almost...
Those are pretty cool photos, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll get to that, too. I do like the photography, for sure. The person who did it, we've talked about on the show before, so
I'm not surprised.
I don't have to go through her stuff. Oh my god. Okay, let's just leave this here for now. Deal with that some other time. The vinyl's in great condition. Sounded great. Oh, this is the one I have. It was a hard skip on the first side. I did it once, and then it was spick and span. No pops and no hiss. The rest of it clean as fuck. Like, honestly, it's amazing for an album this good to sound like it was new. Great mix, well balanced. You could hear the guitar. You can hear, even back then, you can hear the age and the miles on the guitar and the way the sound field is. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just such a nice.
It just puts me in such a zen spot just thinking about it. Even
I know, and considering how fucking annoyed I was after the first from the Kihn band there, it's just like but here comes Willie. So the cover art is by Brian Hagawara, cover photo by Bev Parker. And art direction by Virginia Team. This is what they call the Virginia Team.
Oh, the Virginia Team. I thought her name was Virginia.
Team. No, just the Virginia Team. That's
gotcha.
All. Yeah.
The Virginia Team.
So Brian, nope. I couldn't find a bio. I can find lots about his stuff and like pictures of him. It's up here, but no actual bio from where he came from or where he's going or anything like that. Worked on such artists as Alice Cooper, Steppenwolf. This is for cover art. Worked on Alice Cooper, Steppenwolf, Curtis Mayfield, Willie, obviously, George Jones, plus lots of country people. So that's just the cover art. The photography, the pictures you're liking, is she did the last one too. Her name's Bev Parker, and she does tons of stuff. You want to go back, watch the other
similarities.
You want to know about her? Go watch the last episode we had with Willie in it. Because she does a lot of great photography, and specifically too with a lot of country people. She was like really in the Nashville scene, and that's what I wrote. See previous album. Okay, and the Virginia Team. They did art direction, design, and just art for the albums. So when I did this and I looked it up, I just grabbed what they worked on in that category because these 3 people are entities that I've mentioned all do different things. So these guys worked on Sawyer Brown, Garth Brooks, Hank Williams, Flatt and Scruggs, The Byrds, Tanya Tucker. They actually won a Grammy Award in 1998 for a Hank Williams box set. Once again, no bio about a team of fucking people.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So my notes for the song. Oh, so there you go for the songs I should talk about earlier. Hard skip, slide on Whiter Shade of Pale, and then a cover album with a few originals. And I don't have a problem with that because it's still like as good, if not better, in some cases than the original artist.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because there are a lot of old standard classic songs that people just love, and
So I'm just writing down my.
Willie does them well.
Again, and it's too like it's not just one style of song. Like he likes. Spreads it around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does all kinds of different genres and puts his own spin on them.
Yeah, it definitely makes it Willie. Makes it Willie. So
puts a spin on his Willie.
He puts a spin on Willie. For me, I fucking love it. Classic must-own collection.
Yeah.
You have to listen to it, even if you're not a fan of like country music. I usually hate country music, man. You should be listening to this album.
Yeah. Sale history.
Oh shit! Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Sorry.
And that's okay. For it, in its worst condition, $1.32. In median condition, $3.72. And in mint condition, $9.50.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. There's probably a million of these. It's one of the best-selling albums around there for a long time. So, yeah, it's a good one. And
Willie down.
I'm gonna put my Willie down. All day, people.
All right, Elvis Costello and the Attractions Armed Forces. Declan Patrick McManus, better known by his stage name Elvis Costello, is an English musician, singer, songwriter, composer, record producer, author, television presenter, and occasional actor, and husband to Diana Krall.
Yep. Local gal.
A local gal, yeah. He joined forces with the Attractions in 1977 after the release of his critically acclaimed album Armed Forces. And this, his third album, was released in 1979. The working title of this album was Emotional Fascism.
Yeah, I like that. Which is actually a song title, isn't it?
I think so, yes. Yeah. His first three albums, My Aim is True, This Year's Model, and Armed Forces, appear on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 albums of all time. 500 best albums of all time. Costello split with the Attractions in 1986, and he worked as a solo artist. He's had an amazing and long career. I think he's underrated, and he's ranked 80 on the Rolling Stone list of the 100 greatest artists of all times. So, yeah, I don't consider him mainstream. So it's interesting.
He's just on the edge, I think.
That he's like 80 out of 100. Yeah.
Well, and I think you say he's underrated, and I think he's exactly appropriately rated.
Yeah, and I think I wrote that before we listened to the full album.
Yeah, let's do the songs before we get into that part.
And I'll discuss a little bit more about that when we talk about the songs.
Yeah, okay.
Producer of this album was Nick Lowe, who wrote Cruel to Be Kind. Another song I love, which actually prompted me to go find it and put it on my playlist. He's an English singer-songwriter, musician, and producer. He worked with such artists as Huey Lewis, Carlene Carter, Johnny Cash, and Elvis. He has a reputation as a musician in his own right. He actually wrote What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding for Elvis Costello, which is on this album. Which
is also covered by Tool, or Perfect Circle.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Not too long ago.
Yep.
There is an American and Canadian version of this album, which I'll let you talk about.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't write anything. If you have anything about it, go ahead. You said it was a song difference.
Yeah, there was one song on side 2 that is not on this album. It's on the American version. Accidents Will Happen, Senior Service, Oliver's Army, which I have a star beside.
Doesn't like that one.
I take that was that was the hit off this album.
Okay.
Big Boys, Green Shirt, and Party Girl. Side 2 is Goon Squad, Busy Bodies. The American version has a song called Sunday's Best, but it's not on this album. Moods for Moderns, Chemistry Class, and Two Little Hitlers. Oh, sorry. In place of Sunday's Best, What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding is on this album.
Yeah, there it is right there.
So that's what the difference is. They didn't just take one off and...
So which song do you want to play?
Leave it. That one, I guess. Peace, Love, and Understanding.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that, what did I say? It's funny, you know, I didn't write any notes for the songs because this is all just like other notes about art stuff, yeah. So what I remember is, besides Peace, Love, and Understanding, I think the first song, Accidents Will Happen, and Peace, Love, and Understanding were the two best songs in the album. So the very bookend songs. And I felt this album was super fucking tedious. Like, by the second side, man, I just did not care. It's all the same sounding.
Yeah, it sounds a lot.
And that's what you're talking about, because at first you're talking about, oh, he's so underrated, and I thought the more we listen to him, I'm like, no, he's appropriately rated.
Well, and I kind of have this soft spot for him because he's got so many songs like Allison, and
he's got great songs, but the albums are boring as fuck.
That I really love a lot, and I love his voice, and so in my head, I think I have him hyped up a little bit more than...
Yeah. Well, no, because like I said, the songs that he has, the hits, particularly the good songs, are good. And like a lot of there's just a lot of shit in between. Mm-hmm. And that's I would never...
It'd be interesting to look at a greatest hits album if he even has one out there, just to see what's on it.
Just go to Spotify real quick and take a look at his top 10, maybe. And just
That's true.
And kind of see... I mean, that's not necessarily the best way of doing it, but that's a good general way.
Well, and after listening to this, I did go to Spotify, and I threw a couple of songs on my playlist as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
There's the ones that I really love.
Yeah, well, there's not many on here. Two, maybe three off this album. Yeah, so that's what I mean. And this album's a bit longer, too. Like, these weren't... Nothing... A bit longer than the Conspiracy album, but...
So I've been...
Didn't overstay... It overstayed its welcome just because I thought it was so fucking boring.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I have been a long time fan of his.
Yeah.
And
well, there's lots of songs.
I'm not sure I ever owned one of his albums though. He's influenced so many artists like the Pogues and Prince and Radiohead and Suzanne Vega, who I love, and the Foo Fighters. But I found I got tired of this album kind of quickly.
Yeah, just fatigue. It's the same tempo and same kind of beat for every song, pretty much, and it's like...
Yeah, I would just go pick out the songs of his that I really like. Although I guess that's how you get to know other songs that may be off the radar, is to listen to albums, and there wasn't any really on this one that I...
No, that's why I like going to Spotify, because then I can find those. You can kind of go through and seek out those songs that have been played more than others, but aren't necessarily top songs. It's a good way to find B-sides and shit like that.
Yeah.
So,
you do, yeah.
Canada 79. It was $1 when whoever bought it. $1. Canada 79, Columbia. Conditions, actually, it's in really good, other than a bit of fading at the top here.
Yeah, it is in pretty decent condition.
It's in good condition. It's not one of those flimsy ones. The inside's in good condition. I mean, where the album's kind of poked through a little bit, but... No, good condition there. I like it. Sleeves in excellent condition. There's no moles or anything like that. The sound is good. Well mixed, clean, like this. That's not an issue at all. The reproduction of it. Photography is by Chalky Davis. Oh shit. I'm gonna start again. Photography is by Chalky Davies. Brian Griffin. No, if really that's a dude's name is Brian Griffin for photography. Keith Morris. And the design is by a lady named Coco Shinomiya. Hope I'm saying that right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, so I kind of have this written down backwards a little bit. So we'll start with Coco first. She has 2 Grammy nominations, 94 and 95, for a box set of 30 years of R&B and Songs of the West. I wish I would have written more information on what that meant. Songs of the West. Didn't realize we were going to wait 2 weeks to do this again.
But your memory's faded?
She did, no. There's a lot of other stuff. It's the head stuff.
Yes, I know.
Design, art direction, and art for Diana Krall, John Mellencamp. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I noticed that
I wonder if that's recent.
It is.
I mean, they've been married for...
It is her more recent stuff that the same woman...
Oh, okay, because I think that they've been married now for something like 12 years or something like that.
Okay, well, that's... When I mean more recent, that's definitely the last decade. Stuff. Yeah, she's worked on that stuff in the last decade. Okay, so... Yeah. John Mellencamp, Bob Dylan, The Cranberries, Ramones, Warren Zevon. So she's... And once again, there's lots of information about what stuff she's done, but not about her. I can even find pictures of her. There's no bios out there or anything like that. And we'll talk about Chalky now. Chalky up here, ChalkyDavies.com is a fucking... Once I realized and did the research on him, I realized that I was very aware of his stuff. And he's on the Instagrams and Twitters. I even have it right here. See, from Wales on Twitters and Instagram.
Cool.
Has a gallery. Has a gallery / works on tours. So just picture of him and some of his stuff up back here. Mainly known for his rock photos. Was a staff photog for NME, which is, I'm going to say, like a production company.
Yeah, that's pretty familiar.
Yeah. He did that from 75 to 79, moved to New York and started doing his own stuff, his own studio, his own photography. It's called Still Life Studios. I want to make sure I get that right. So yeah, I worked on Gary Moore, Elvis Costello, Thin Lizzy, Stray Cats, Pete Townsend, more than that. So on to Brian now, who's also doing photography on this. So BrianGriffinPhotography.co.uk.
That makes me laugh.
I know, trust me, looking up Brian Griffin to find any fucking information, guess what came up a lot?
Yeah.
Boring.
That other jerk.
Yeah, cartoon jerk.
Yeah, cartoon jerk.
So there's his site. I think he's on the Instagram. For some reason I didn't write this one down, so I'm just trying to fill it all out. Born in the UK. Started photography in the early 70s. In 1989, The Guardian named him photographer of the decade.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's fucking crazy. I know.
That's pretty prestigious.
Yeah, I worked in film for about 10 years and stopped doing that. I worked on albums of Joe Jackson, Ultravox, Echo and the Bunnymen.
Huh.
And for Keith, who was the last person I have on the list, who was part of the photography crew. Jesus. I shortened this down because it was running out of space. So he worked with bands, obviously like this. It's EC obviously stands. I didn't put it down, so it's just EC, which also is up here somewhere. Bing Crosby, Dave Edmonds. So, you know, I wouldn't say
lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. I wouldn't say they worked all together all the time, but it was just, this is one of the ones that came together on. So, and once again, there's between Chalky and Brian, we're talking like fucking big name photographers and, you know, art people. So it's amazing to me, which is fine because, you know, I actually the only good thing about this album is its cover. I like the front of that crazy, messy Jackson Pollock shit going on, and I actually like that.
Yeah, the back is beautiful.
The back is even more.
Yeah,
I don't know why that wasn't just the cover.
Yeah.
I would flip those two. That would be my cover right there. There's so much cool shit going on in that one.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So yeah, that's me. That's what I got. I'm going to put it in the same bin as the Kihn band for me.
And I'm going to talk about the sale history.
Yeah, I don't need to, so I'm just going to write boo on it.
In its worst condition, $5. In median condition, $7.91. In mint condition, $10.50 or 56. I can't read my writing.
56. It looks
6. Like 56.
Yeah.
And
you?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I will stick to picking and choosing.
Yeah, it's
Elvis Costello songs.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine outside really the first.
Fill up on my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, you had the other one was Oliver's Army that you had circled. So maybe 3 songs in this album. Yeah, it's not worth listening to this album for. Not at all.
Oh, the good old days, hey? Where you bought an album and there was only one song on it that was worth listening to.
I know, my dad has an entire collection we're going through right now.
Yeah, this
of
is
albums
true.
like that is one
this
song.
This is very true.
Like a song.
Albums he bought when he was drunk.
Young and drunk. Yeah. I like that one song.
Let's go buy that album, Karen.
I'm glad that I didn't grow up in that era where, like, I mean, I guess I did to a little bit with CDs. I had to do that like early days, like Columbia House days. You had I like that song.
Oh, I did lots of it in my teens.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing.
But thankfully
it'd be so disappointing. You'd spend your $10.
Yeah. Well, thankfully for me that changed.
And
you do your mixtapes, or you can mix CDs, or you can just and now it's like, who fucking cares?
You just buy the single.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to anything else they put out.
No, that's great.
Just that one song.
So, anyways, Costello down. Fuck that guy. And well, fuck that album anyway, because I like to move this stuff.
Okay, so
subscribe,
follow us on Twitter at RFTCS1. Return. I did it again.
You did.
Review from the Crawl Space 1. Mm-hmm. Follow us there. We're thinking about starting an Instagram account.
Yeah, we do Instagram stuff for this channel, but through our own personal accounts, yeah. And a little bit of that with our own personal accounts on Twitter too. But crap! I keep clicking tripod. We're almost over anyway. So it doesn't matter. just want to put out there, so besides liking and subscribing...
Hit the bell if you want to know when we're putting up new episodes.
Yeah, which seems to be...
Which isn't as often as we'd like.
Anywhere from a week to 3 weeks.
And just a little bit of a preface. Next episode is 25.
Yeah, we got a little treat in store for 25, episode 25.
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of a look back at the first 24 episodes.
Little best of a review show again.
Yeah.
Review of the review.
Reviews.
Reviews of the crawl space. Or from the compass. Anyways, guys.
Thanks.
Later.
Bye.